This video is number 2 of 4 of the National 5 Graphics assignment from 2019. In the first video we showed you how to model the earpiece for the earbud. In this video we're going to look at the main body. So just like the earpiece, we know that the main body is circular in shape. We can tell this because it has centre lines all the way through the object, but also in the pictorial drawing we can see that there's curves here. Now the main body, just like the earpiece, is symmetrical on both sides. So this side and this side are the exact same. So because it's symmetrical and it's round in shape, we're again going to use the revolve tool. So in order to use revolve, we're going to have to split up this object into halves, and we're going to sketch out half of it so that we can revolve around the centre axis. Now the first line that we are going to look at is our kind of centre line. Now we could draw a line all the way up, but in order to find all of the different parts for the side of the main body, we're going to kind of break it up so that it's easier to draw. So the first line we're going to look at is the bottom up to this point here. Now if we look at the end elevation, we can see that from here to here is the 8. So we're going to draw that first. So going into Inventor, we're going to click a new part, and we're going to make sure we're in metric standard millimetres. And we're going to start a 2D sketch on the XY plane. We're then going to get our line, and from the green dot in the centre we're going to go up 8 millimetres. Now we're going to focus on the kind of bottom part of this drawing. So, looking at the end elevation, we have this line here, but we now need to try and get this distance here. So looking at the elevation, we know from this point to this point will be 5.5 because here to here is 11 and we're taking half of it. But we now have this kind of chamfer here at 45 degrees. So in order for us to get this shape, we're going to just make it a kind of solid right angled square at the moment, and then we'll use the chamfer tool to give it the angle. So we're going to do 5.5 plus the 1 millimetre from the chamfer. So on our sketch we're going to get our line, and we're going to draw a line from the bottom of our 8 out to the side 6.5. So 5.5 plus 1. So far we have sketched out this line and this point. We now need to go back up and along. So from this point to this point, we know it's already 8. So we now just need to work out this point to this point. So this is where we will look at our elevation, and we can see that this line here is our diameter of 13. But again, we're just doing half of it, so it will be 6.5. So in Inventor, we're going to get our line at the end. We're going to go up 8. And along 6.5. So we've created a kind of square shape for the bottom, but we still have to create the chamfer, kind of diagonal line at the side. So along our menu, just beside rectangle, you can see here that it says fillet. So we're just going to drop down the menu and we're going to make sure that we click chamfer. Now it will be automatically set to the 45 degrees, but instead of 2mm, we want it to be 1mm. We then want to click our bottom line and our side line, and that will create our diagonal in the corner of our drawing. So now we have this full bottom shape now created. We're now going to focus on the kind of second shape, the middle part. So looking at the end elevation, we can see that at the top of our 8 line, we now go up 2. So in Inventor, at the top of our 8 line, we're going to go up 2. We then need to work out the distance from here to here, so from that part to this part, and this part to this part. And again, that's going to come from our elevation. So from this part to this part, we can see that it is 10, which would mean 5 because we're halving it. And then from this part to this part is 9, so it will be 4.5 because again, we are halving it. So I'm going to go back to Inventor. I'm going to zoom in slightly to my 2 line. So at the top of the 2, we're going to go out our 4.5. And at the bottom of our 2 line, we're going to go along 5. We're then going to join both of these lines together. So now we've got our bottom part modelled and now this top part. So the final part we need to model is the kind of top part where the earpiece sits on the main body. So because it's a small area, the author of the drawings has done a enlarged view to make it easier for us to work out the sizes of this part. So from the bottom, the line that we just created, we can see that it goes up 2 and then it goes up an extra 0.5. So at the top of this line, we're going to find the green dot and we're going to go up 2.5. Press escape. So we've got our 2.5. We then can see that from this part to this part, it is a diameter of 3. So we're going to half, so we're going to go out 1.5. We also have here to here as 1.5, but that has a height of 2. So I'm going to find my 2, and I'm going to go out 1.5. I'm going to go straight down until I touch my line, like so. Now we just need to find the top part. So we've went up 2, along 1.5, and then we went down 2, so that it joins this other line. Now the last little line is this part here, and we can see that that has a diameter of 1. So again, we're doing half, so we're going to go at the very top of our 2.5, we're going to go out 0.5, and then we're going to join it to the shape that we just made. So now we have modelled the the bottom part, the bit above it, and then the very top. So the last thing we need to do is finish our sketch. Now there's quite a lot happening here, so when we go to revolve it, we need to make sure that we select all of the pieces. So we're going to click revolve. We're going to make sure that profile is selected, and we're going to select all 4 parts. Now if yours does not select a part, what that means is that there is a hole, as in the lines aren't joined in a certain part. So if that's the case, you'll have to go back to your model tree, right click the sketch, go to edit sketch, and try and work out what line is not connected. You will know that it's worked because when you click revolve, it lets you select all 4 parts. Once you've selected all the parts, the next thing to do is select axes and make sure that you select one of these centre lines, like so. And there we have it as a solid shape. So there's now just 3 more things to do before we finish. So we can see that inside the drawing there is lots of hidden detail. So we can see all of the hidden detail lines, which means that it's hollow inside the drawing. The part. So in order to make it hollow, we need to shell it. So we're going to go up to our menu, which says shell. And you can see here that it's faintly shown us that it's making it hollow. Now again, reading the drawing, we can see that the wall thickness is 1 millimetre, and this is already set to 1 millimetre. So it's just a case that we select OK, and that's it shelled. Now it's not going to look much different, but we know it's shelled when we come to do our drawing. Now you can see that the hidden detail goes all the way up to the top and through the bottom. So we need to create 2 holes on either side for our object to go through. Now if we start off with the bottom one, we can see that from here to here it's got a square of 3. So we know that it's a squared shape because it's got the little square here, and that each side equals 3. So I'm going to go back to my model and I'm going to go on to the bottom surface. And then I'm going to click Start Sketch and select the bottom. Now under our rectangle menu, there's lots of different options. It's automatically set to a 2-point rectangle, which means that it draws the rectangle from one of the corners. Instead we want it to draw the rectangle from the middle. So we want to go down to the 3rd option, which says 2-point centre rectangle, and make sure that's selected. We then want to click the green dot, so the middle of our circle, and we're going to change each of the sides to 3. So pressing tab on your keyboard lets you flip between the sizes. So 3, tab 3, and press enter. Now if you accidentally press enter too fast, or you've not set the sizes correctly, you can either double click the sizes and change it, or you can use the dimension tool to select your line and change the size. So once you've got your box of 3x3, we're going to finish the sketch, and we're going to use the extrude to select our square, but instead of it coming out the way, we're going to change it to 1 millimetre, and we're going to make it go in the way. And we should know that it works because we should be able to see through the square because we've shelled it so it's hollow inside. Now the next thing we want to do is do the hole at the top. So we want to click the top, start a 2D sketch on the top surface. With our circle tool, we're going to click the very top, so the green dot. Make sure that we go out 1mm. Finish the sketch, and again extrude, subtract, so change the direction to direction 2, 1mm. And you will know that it's worked if you're able to see all the way through it. Now if I look through mine, I can see that there is a kind of thickness here. It's not letting me see it all the way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my extrusion 2. I'm going to right click and edit feature. And I'm going to increase my extrude subtract by an extra 2 to see if that gets rid of it. So there we go. I can now see all the way through, and there's none, there's no kind of thickness there. If I click the bottom of my object, I can see the square, and I can see all the way through to my circle. So there we have it. We now have part 2 of our earbud created. So just like part 1, we're going to go up to File, Save As, and then save it to your OneDrive.